Gosh, I feel like anybody could be a content creator, right? You're a content creator because you create content.
Welcome to the intersection of being and becoming, a Black Girl Digital podcast. On this podcast, we'll discover together the intimate journey of being an influencer while becoming your best self and building a successful brand. Here's your host, LaToya Shambo.
Let everyone know what it really is, what it feels like to build such a powerful community. I mean, it's not 1 million followers, but on your Instagram, you have about 29,000 followers, first of all, on Clubhouse.
Right.
Let's talk about your Clubhouse community.
Right.
I mean, dynamic. I think you still have one of the biggest beauty communities on Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's actually the biggest beauty club on the platform. But when you're talking about building communities, whether it's large or small, I think we've spoken about this word being overused, right? But it's about authenticity, because I think that, people want to feel included. And that's kind of what I did when I first came to New York, even with starting my podcast. I felt as though the industry, I work in beauty and fashion in New York. It's very, elitist at times. And, it's not for, somebody that is from a small island in the Caribbean and just move, So I was like, you know what, if I'm going to be in a space, I'm going to bring people along with me, whether you're, a friend of mine on social media or a friend of mine in real life. I wanted people to feel included. And I think that's where community building started for me. So, just to touch on Clubhouse really fast, that was literally what it was. When I first got onto the platform, I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm very curious. And I tell people to stay curious on whatever app it is. It doesn't have to pop off or not, but it's something, there's always a lesson to learn. So whether it's Clubhouse, super great, whatever it is. And Clubhouse just happened. Like, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I started to do, a lot of rooms with my friends. And I was like, how can we help? What could we talk about? And you were always down. I'm like, LaToya, let's do this. Let's talk about terms that creators should know. Let's talk about and then either if it's makeup or on the makeup artist side, or if it was the creative side, we were always there just giving, right? And I think that's what helped build such a large community. That's what made it the biggest beauty club, because I was like, all right, I am a Black woman. I'm 32, I am not representative of all the voices and experiences that are in this world. So my whole thing was like, how can I make everybody included? So I had, a bunch of people like Jackson, who's 19 and a different race, and his experiences are different, So there were so many other people like Kathy and everyone, Daniela, everyone was in different parts of beauty, and even if they weren't directly in the industry, they have different perspectives. So that came on. I think that was the piece that kind of brought more people in, because it wasn't about me. I never tried to oh yeah, this is my thing and this is mine. It was never mine. It was everybody else's, this is our club. We had a group chat. We'd be talking shit on a morning, we'd be cracking up, and we kind of all got to know each other and support each other. And even though things have kind of shifted now, we're always celebrating each other. Jackson moved to New York, Zane moved to New York, Rosie got a new job. I'm just everybody is doing their thing, and I'm just so proud of everyone. So I think when you think about creating community, maybe not on a platform like that, but just in your own way, it's how can I serve? And then everything else will be added. And like you said, not 1 million followers, maybe not yet.
Not yet.
At the end of the day, to me, you do what you can with what you have. If you can't serve 1 million people, if you don't serve 10, or if you don't serve 1,000 or 10,000. So you just got to do your thing.
I will say one thing that I admire the most about you is how you do stay connected to the community, and you find time for everyone. I mean, sometimes you don't answer my FaceTime, but we're not here for that tea.
Don't be calling me out. Wow, guys, she's lying.
My FaceTimes, they come at odd hours, so it's okay.
But it's funny because you are up in the morning and I'm sleeping in, and then at 10 I'm like, girl, what's going on? I'm doing work. It's so funny.
But you do a really good job at staying connected on and offline with your community. Yeah. Let's talk about that. How do you carve out the time, or what does that even look like for you?
Oh my God, that's a great question, because I don't even think about carving out time. Like most times, when you, like you said, you might FaceTime me and I'll be in a different zone. But if something pops into my head, I'm like, okay, I see an opportunity, I'll just DM it to a friend. Or I see something, I'll just send you a quick voice note. Like, you don't need to respond to me right away. I just wanted to tell you this. And even like when you talk about community and like and staying connected, I had this idea of like, yo, let's put together this group of people, like let's do this 30-day challenge together. And we all like decided to do it. And then we became friends in the chat and we were supporting each other. It was like maybe 8 or 9 of us in this chat. And I know you were so down. I was like, okay, let's try. We're about to do this. And it was so funny. So I think, just doing little things like that. Like I'm a group chat kind of girl. Like, listen, let's just do this. Maybe it's a temporary group chat, but kind of just as things pop in my head, if I see something that somebody might like, or I see an opportunity, I'm like, yo, this is you. Like, let me just send this to you real quick. So I think it has to be ingrained in you. Like, I can't carve out time I can't even think about carving out time to do anything else. I can't add anything else to my plate right now.
And when I really think about, I was like, all right, how many people do I need to talk to today? It's overwhelming. So
Yeah,
good for you. Like that is definitely a good skill.
Yeah, because in New York, you're always like, yeah, let's go to dinner, let's do it. And then it's like a year later and it didn't happen. So like if it happens and you're like, all right, this is the day, okay, let's just do it. But you can't, some things you just can't plan too much.
I hear you. So now, as it relates to securing the bag, because of course you have a beautiful community and all these brands, they want a piece of it. Of course they want a piece of you, but they mostly want to reach and connect with your community. How are you building your business as an influencer, and how are you just navigating the space as a whole?
I think, for me, I have a bit of a different perspective because I am still a working makeup artist. I work full time. I still work on beauty and fashion shoots. So when you talk about carving out my, space in the influencer industry, I think it's continuing to do me, right? Like I have a different perspective. If you send me a product, I could use it on myself, but I can also take it on a shoot and show you like, hey, this is what it does on different skin tones. This is what it does, like, in this situation that I might not be able to speak to if I was just using it on myself. So I think really just, continuing to stay in my lane, to be honest. Like I love to share, products. I love to share my opinion on things because people trust me. They know that I use products on set or, I test things out before I use it. So I think it's a matter of like, what does your everyday life look like, and not trying to carve yourself out to what you see might be popular. Like this person on TikTok is doing this person is doing that. I think it's a matter of like, okay, this is my real life and my real perspective, and I'm going to just show you my life. So I think that's the strategy, just being authentic and showing like who you are, your opinions. And yeah, I hope that answered that question, because I feel like sometimes people like it has to be this and it has to be that. I'm just like,
it doesn't have to be anything.
It doesn't have to be anything. Like, yeah, like what do you like? What do you want to do with your life? You know what I mean? Like, not because, oh, this is popular now, I should go on it. Like some people didn't come on Clubhouse at all, and that's fine. But some people are killing it on Amazon Live and Twitch and things that I'm not, right? You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of like, what's authentic to you? What do you want to do? Because then if you have a strategy that includes things that are not what you want to do or doesn't align with you, then you become unhappy. Then you don't want to do it. You know what I mean? So for me to operate, I'm a makeup artist. I'm also a content creator. I'm going to show you these things. I'm going to show you the life of a makeup artist. That's authentic to me. So I'm just like, I'm fine with it. Like I'm happy. You know what I mean?
So do you identify more as a content creator versus an influencer? Like, and what's the difference for you?
Oh my gosh. I feel like anybody could be a content creator, right? You're a content creator because you create content, like I think for the word influencer had become this very dirty word over the years, especially when it first started to happen. It was a big war against makeup artists and influencers were taking the jobs of makeup artists. But I think now, I do see myself as a content creator because I'm not just on one platform. I'm not just doing reviews. Like I'm across platforms. I'm across, different, I don't know exactly the word right now, but I'm doing audio, I'm doing video, there's different avenues that I'm in. So I see that more as content creation than as just holding a product and being like, hey guys, I like this product, like, you know what I mean? So, whoever identifies as a makeup, not a makeup artist, as a influencer, I think it's fine. But for me, I just see that as the end thing, like a marketing output where it's like, okay, let's give it to the influencer. They're going to give it to their audience, regardless of what it is. But influencer is creating content. So to me, people use it interchangeably, but I think, content creator is more of a broad term because you're doing more. Like, come on, we are set design, audio, stylist, like you're a content creator, you're a production company.
You're a whole
literally.
tiny production company.
So yeah, it's definitely just more than being an influencer. So
now, when it comes to deciding which platform you're going to create for today, like what's the strategy? What's your creative process as it relates to figuring out, all right, these are the platforms that I'm going to be on, and that's it. Because as you said, not everyone showed up on Clubhouse, not everyone shows up on Amazon Live,
right.
So how are you deciding which platforms work best for you, and how are you taking your community to those new platforms, or are you just relying on the community that's already on those platforms that
right.
you want to be on?
That's a great question. I don't necessarily think of bringing people over. People who want to come will come, but every platform is different. Your audience on Instagram is not your audience on TikTok. It's not your audience on YouTube. There's very different things, and you're not necessarily creating the exact same things on all those platforms. So for me, this is something that I've been talking and thinking about a lot lately, because I mean, at the end of the day, I used to be a very one-woman show. I didn't have anybody to help me do anything, but I have VAs and stuff that help me now. And for me, I'm like, okay, well, the one thing that I need to unlock a lot of the things that I want is consistency. So my whole thing now is, when I'm thinking about what platform I'm going to create for, I'm thinking of extreme batching. So right now, I by the end of next week, I'm going to be all done with my podcast until the end of February 2022. So for me, I'm like, okay, that platform is taken care of. We've batched, you know what I mean? Some things like TikTok and Instagram, you're going to have to continue to do because it's trending stuff. But for me, I'm like, think of what you can batch and put out in advance, and then you can move on to the other platform. So that's what I'm thinking of now, right? Now I'm like, okay, what do I want to do for each platform? And then how much of it can I actually do in advance? So when you think of that, for me, I'm like, okay, evergreen content, you could absolutely do that in advance, right? So YouTube is the next thing. I'm like, all right, I want to get back on there. I have editors and stuff that's going to help me. And then YouTube, TikTok and Instagram it's always changing and moving. So, for me, it's like, take care of the audio, and then let's get back to the video. So that's how I'm thinking about it right now, to be honest. Just compartmentalize, because it helps your brain.
Oh my gosh. And in a perfect world, I'm like, yeah, I'm batching content, and then I start doing work and I can't even get into
Absolutely. Let me tell you, when I get busy and people don't see me on Instagram, like, I'll make a reel and be like, yeah, this is where I was. This is what I was doing. So anytime I have a light week or a light 2 weeks or whatever, I try to take advantage, which I don't always do. Sometimes I just want to sleep. But I've been trying my best, because in my head right now, I'm like, it's 2022 right now in my head. And I'm forcing myself to do that, because I'm like, all right, girl, like, your birthday's in January. Like, we got to do the birthday shoot. I'm trying to pretend it's December right now, just so, not even December, like beginning of December, because that's when people are like, oh, I need to get to the gym. I need to write my goals. And I'm like, no, let's do that right now. So it's definitely a work in progress. I'm not always a batcher, but I think the more that I do it, it helps my team, because I have 2 VAs that help me with my podcast. So that helps them. They can edit the videos in advance. They can have all the stuff ready to go. So it's like, we don't get up like 2 days. Oh my God, what are we posting? Like, that energy is just just do what you can. You can't always batch for every platform, but if you can do it, even if it's a week or 2 or 3 weeks, then it alleviates some pressure off of you. So
thanks for joining us this week on The Intersection of Being and Becoming, a Black Girl Digital podcast. If you like what you just heard and found the info helpful, we hope you'll pass along our podcast to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes. While you're at it, if you or a brand you know is in need of influencer marketing services, please pass along our website, www.blackgirldigital.com. That would help us out too.